One of the painful things that you have to deal with is using a class from a namespace that is not imported into the current file. I have seen some developers Google the class name to find the namespace or the assembly, then go on top of the file to import the namespace, and then reference the class. This is very time consuming. So let me show you how we can quickly use a class from a namespace that is not imported into the current file. So here I want to create an instance of SQL connection. As you might know, this class is defined in system.data.SQL client namespace, but it's not referenced here. With ReSharper, we can press Ctrl and a space to activate auto-completion, as you learned previously, and now start typing the name of the class. See, ReSharper knows that this class is defined in system.data.SQL client, so if you press the tab here, it automatically imports this namespace for us. Just one thing, I'm using ReSharper 8, and this behaves a little bit differently in the earlier versions. In earlier versions, you will have to use Control Shift and space instead of just Control and space. So Control Shift and space is to activate auto-completion when you want to bring a class from a different namespace. Then in ReSharper 8, they decided to get rid of that and just say with Control and space, you can auto-complete anything, whether the type you want to use is in the current namespace or not. We can also use a class from an assembly that is not referenced in the project, which means ReSharper automatically adds a reference to that assembly and imports the namespace for us. The only issue is you won't see the name of the class in the autocomplete box. So you have to manually type the name of the class before you can get ReSharper to add a reference to the assembly and import the namespace. Let me show you how it works. So I want to use the configuration manager class, which is defined in system.configurationAssembly. So I type in configuration manager, and now note this red bulb here. This indicates an error. Earlier I told you that Alt and Enter is the golden shortcut. So we use Alt and Enter to activate ReSharper commands, and note that it's suggesting to add a reference to system.configurationAssembly. So let's apply it. There you go, the namespace is now imported.